Hey guys, I thought I would do and take some advice from one of my subscribers, 911 Gamer. He put in my Twitter contest video / pickups video on Sunday that he'd like to see some top 10 videos, some more rare or prototypes videos. I really don't have any prototypes, and rare is kind of in the eye of the beholder on some things. So what I thought I'd do is I'll show you some of my most expensive games in my Sega collection. What you're going to see is some games and collections that I've actually not even done collection videos for yet, which is the Saturn and the Dreamcast. So let's get started. We're going to start with the Sega Master System. Let's see what we got here. First up is Montezuma's Revenge. It's a really cool game. It was made for quite a few systems, even some of the older ones like the Atari 2600. It's a really fun game, a platformer. Right now it shows from pricecharting.com, and take the prices I'm going to tell you with a grain of salt because let's face it, some of these are going to be wrong, but it's a good gauge on what's some of the more valuable games in my collection. It shows this one complete in box, which this one is, goes for like $43. Alright, next is going to be Phantasy Star. One of my favorites, and I know Johnny Millennium loves this game as well. It's his favorite game. He did a video on it recently. I also have it complete in box. Again, price charting shows this game going for about $49. Alright, next we've got another one of my favorite series that I really suck at, but I really enjoy playing them. That is Ghouls and Ghosts. This is also for the Master System. It is also complete, and it currently shows this one's worth about $75. Alright, next, I'm not real sure about this one. I think I've seen it going or close to what they're saying it's going for, so maybe it's not wrong. The game I'm going to show you is Alex Kidd in Shinobi World. This is also complete. It shows this game goes for about $88.99, which is kind of surprising. I think I've seen it go between $50 to $80 is what I've seen on eBay. And finally, I picked this game up and paid quite a bit for it, but it's showing it's went up quite a bit as well. This is Golden Axe Warrior. This one is also complete, and currently it shows it's worth about $130. I think I paid about $75 to $80 for it when I picked it up. Alright, next is going to be my Sega Genesis collection. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot, maybe between 40 and 50 games. I've got some decent games, but a lot of them aren't complete in box. So let's get started here. First up, I'm going to include a reproduction cart. It's actually the original cart, but it's got a board in it that's got a translated ROM on it. So, and that is King Colossus. This doesn't have the manual for it, but this is the original Japanese art with the translated ROM card inside. These normally go for like $35, $40, so that's probably what I would price it at. Alright, next is another really cool entry in the the Phantasy Star series. That is going to be Phantasy Star 2. It is also complete. Currently, price charting has it going for about $40. Next, we have a cart-only game, a really fun game, looks great. That is Castlevania Bloodlines. I really wished I had this one complete in box, but I don't. It goes for about $40 loose. Next, we have another game that goes for about $40. Another really cool RPG. This one kind of took a turn. Most of them were like over-the-top RPGs, and this one was a side-scroller. That, of course, is Ys 3, Wanderers of Ys. This one is also complete in box, and it shows this one goes for about $40 as well. And the last game I'm going to show you, I'm really not sure if it goes for what price charting shows it goes for. It's, I don't know, it's hard to describe it. Kind of a hack and slash, over-the-top shooter type of game, almost like an RPG, not really. That is Arcus Odyssey. That is also complete in box, and it shows this one going for about $86. Again, I'm not sure if that's true or not. Alright, next we're going to do the Sega CD Games. Unfortunately, A lot of these games I got back in the day at pawn shops, they were only CD only. But again, I'm glad to have some of these in my collection. First up is, unfortunately, I've got the CD and the manual for it, and that is Dungeon Explorer. I printed a DVD case for it, so it actually looks nice on my shelf. And here is the manual. I'm going to consider this basically loose. It shows that going for about $27. Next is a CD-only copy of Soulstar. Again, I've got it in one of my DVD cases that I printed out. It shows this one going for about $30. Again, next is I've got the manual and CD for it, printed in a nice case. That is Vey. And it shows this one going for about $35 in its condition. Next is a really awesome strategy RPG. That is Shining Force CD. This one is complete in box, and currently it shows it goes for about $100. And finally, for the Sega CDs, another really cool side-scrolling RPG made by Working Designs. That is Popful Mail. It is also complete in box. This one, it shows, goes for about $140. Alright, next we're going to do the Sega 32X system. Unfortunately, don't have a lot of games for it. Most are loose. First, we're going to show you, this is a Sega 32X CD game. This is Corpse Killer. This only goes for about, let's say, $13. Next, we have Space Harrier. Unfortunately, it is only a loose card as well. It shows that one going for about $16.50. Next is Brutal for the 32X. Unfortunately, again, it is only loose. It shows this one goes for about $18. Here we have Knuckles Chaotix. Again, unfortunately, loose. It shows that one going for about $34. Not sure. I thought that was a kind of more rare game, so maybe it's right. And finally, the person that did this probably should be shot. It is Colibri, and this is a rental. They actually took and cut the case and put it in one of these like custom cases. It does include the manual as well. I'm going to consider this basically loose though, because it really isn't the original box. This goes for about $37.50. Alright, next is probably one of my favorite systems. That is going to be the Sega Saturn. And back in the day, I bought that new. Most of the games I also bought new. So I was able to get most of the more expensive games in my collection because of that. First, we're going to start with a pretty amazing RPG, again by Working Designs. That is Albert Odyssey. That is also complete in box. Shows this one goes for about $105. Next, we have another amazing strategy RPG by Working Designs. That is Dragon Force. The sequel never came out in America, but I still plan on possibly picking that up and using a translation sheet to be able to get through it, because this is just an absolutely awesome game. This is probably one of my favorite games, definitely for the system. Dragon Force goes for about $115 in its condition, which is complete in box. Next is, I'm going to include this one complete because I'm going to, hell or high water, I'm going to get the manual for this one. For some reason, I've misplaced my manual for this game. That is Shining Force 3. It does include the, it is complete with the exception of the manual. And in the condition, if it had the manual, it'd be about a $130 game. And I do plan on getting the manual for this at some point. Next is another amazing RPG created by Working Designs, or translated by Working Designs. That is Magic Knight Ray Earth. This is one of my guilty pleasures games and anime series. I mean, that's very cutesy. It's still a really cool game. It's complete. That one it shows goes for about $200. I'm not sure, that seems a little high. It still could though. I mean, maybe I know the prices on games have been going way up recently. And of course, finally, you probably have seen some of my collection videos. In the intro I do, I include this a little shot of this game. That is Panzer Dragoon Saga. I bought this originally. It was like $56, $57 new when I purchased it. In the last 5 or 6 years, I've moved probably 4 or 5 times, and it's gotten damaged. Unfortunately, in the manual, you probably can't see it. It's a little wrinkled up. Case is a little beat up, but still, it's complete. Pretty awesome game. I really wish someday Sega would either re-release this game so we can play it, more people can play the game, or actually make a sequel to the game, because that would be pretty cool if they could. Currently, this goes for about $350. All right, next we're going to do my Dreamcast collection. Don't have a lot of expensive games for it, but I'll show you what I got. First up is really cool, I don't know how to describe it, maybe like a life simulator. That is Shimmy. It is also complete. This goes for about $30. Next is Sword of the Berserk. Haven't really played this one much, so I'm not really sure much about it. It currently shows it goes for about $27. And next, another really cool RPG for the Dreamcast. I played the absolute heck out of this. Haven't beat it yet, but I do plan on it at some point. That is Grande E 2. Game kind of blew me away when it originally came out because the graphics were pretty, top notch in its day. Currently, it shows that one goes for about $30. Next is, I believe this is a survival horror game, I believe, for the Dreamcast, and that is D2. Currently, it shows this goes for about $40. And this one I saved to last. This is, it never came out in America. I picked up, I believe this is a UK copy. Don't hold me to it. I can't remember if it got released in Canada or not. That is the sequel, Shimmy 2. This is complete as well. It shows, the Japanese version goes for about $80. I think that's a little high. I think I've looked it up between $30 and $40 for the UK version of Shimmy 2. The last game I'm going to show you is for the Sega Game Gear. I'm only going to include one because almost all of my games are common. This game's only worth about $13. That is Super Star Wars Return of the Jedi. Hopefully I'll be able to find some of the more expensive games for the Game Gear at some point, maybe like the Shining Force game. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed that. That is just a little look in my Sega collection and some of the more expensive / rare games. I am going to plan on maybe trying every once in a while put one of these up for Nintendo, for Xbox, PlayStation, for Sony. It'd be interesting to see what I can come up with for those as well. Because the original PlayStation had some pretty expensive games. I may even go back to the Atari and Television, ColecoVision as well. Thanks again, guys.